Hello everybody, welcome to Angela Avalon's YouTube channel. I'm Angela. Subscribe, hit the like button, and do leave me a feedback at the end of the video, please. So this video is gonna be about Mars square or opposition Saturn in synastry. So synastry is a chart between two people, of course. Doesn't have to be romantic. I always say it in all of my videos. However, in this video, I'm gonna probably talk about more on how this aspect plays out in a romantic or sexual scenario. But generally speaking, synastry applies to all kinds of relationships in our lives. So yeah, so with all that being said, let me know if you do want me to make a video about how this aspect plays out in a natal chart, because maybe some of you want to know. So let me know all of that in the comment section down below as well with your feedback, because that also helps me to navigate my channel better for you guys. So yeah, so with all that being said, this is about Mars square opposition Saturn in synastry. Now, before I begin this video, I want to apologize, guys, if I seem a little bit, maybe I sound a little bit off or I seem off to you. It's because, maybe I seem a little bit sedated. It's because your girl is going through a season right now. I've not been feeling my best, physically speaking, as well. So that's just a heads up for you guys. So just bear with me and just try to get the message out of the video, because I am trying to progress the channel nonetheless, regardless of all the other things in my life that I have to take care of as well right now. So with all that being said, this is about the Mars square opposition Saturn in synastry. So let's get into it. So of course, first of all, what does Saturn mean? Saturn, I'll start with Mars rather. That's what I want to say. To begin with, so Mars. What does Mars mean? So Mars is, to sum it up the best way, is all daily life energy. Okay, it's what gets us out of bed. It's what gets us into the bedroom with someone. It's how we use our body to do everything that we do in this life. And Mars does rule Aries, of course, the first house. So Mars is all about the here and the now. Okay, Mars is very much about the present, and it's act first, think later kind of energy. Okay, it's now, it's quick, it's a go, go, go. Saturn, on the other hand, is very restrictive. Okay, Saturn is the father time. Okay, Saturn has everything to do with delays, obstacles, unpleasant circumstances, postponing stuff. Okay, it's have to do with waiting. It rules Capricorn. Now Capricorn might not oppose Aries, but it does square Aries, so keep that in mind as well, that it's not going to be easy dealing with this energy, not because it's a square or an opposition, but because Saturn and Mars, they're not the best energies to be combined. So with that being said, in this dynamic, I'm first gonna speak about how this is gonna play out in a romantic or a sexual scenario, especially since I've actually recently I've gotten out of a connection with someone I was involved with, and we actually had Mars square Saturn in our synastry report. So I know how I have quite a full grasp. I have a full grasp of how this aspect plays out in all kinds of relationships, because I had it in all kinds of relationships. But quite recently, I've gotten out of a connection that was romantic and sexual, that we had this aspect. So I'm gonna focus more on that, not only because that's what motivated me to make this video, but I'm sure that most of you want to know how this aspect plays out in a romantic or sexual way, right? You guys want to know that, and I don't blame you, honestly. So let's begin. So when Mars is square opposition Saturn in a synastry chart, It can play out in a same-sex scenario as well, you know, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna give an example. Maybe I'm gonna use a heterosexual example only because I'm a heterosexual woman and I speak from my experience. But apply it to your scenario, because I feel like I need to say it so all people can understand it when they watch the video. Just apply it to your scenario, okay? I'm just gonna use my experience for the sake of the video, okay? So, when Mars squares or opposes Saturn in synastry, it's first of all, I actually made notes here for myself so I don't go all over the place because you guys really don't like it. So, when Mars squares or opposes Saturn in synastry, first of all, it creates a dynamic where the couple has trouble to get the relationship off the ground to begin with, okay? Now, what you gotta realize is that you know, two people can really like each other, really enjoy each other's company, and even have an immense desire to be together. But because they have this aspect, or if they have this aspect, it's not really gonna come together because, like I said, first of all, they're gonna have such trouble to get the relationship off the ground to begin with that it might never occur. Now, it depends on the entire synastry chart, because, you know, certain energies, you know, this is the kind of, I'm gonna be really honest, guys, this is the kind of aspect that will take over a synastry chart. However, if there's other aspects, it can blend. I'm not saying it's gonna cancel this aspect. Let's forget about it. Forget about it. It will not cancel this aspect. But it will play, like, it will blend and play with other aspects. For example, maybe if you have Uranus, like me, with this guy, with this man, we have a moon square Uranus. So, you know, there is this on and off. You might like come back together, because this also creates on and off, kind of like Uranus, but different way. So if you have Uranus as well aspect with this Mars square Saturn aspect, then for sure you're gonna come back to the person and you will try to get it off the ground, but it might not come together. It might not actually ever take off the ground, okay? It's what I'm trying to say. This is just an example. Maybe it will, but even when it will, because it can, okay. All right, I'm gonna sum it up the best way possible, okay. There's many ways that this aspect can play out, so I'm gonna try to really use my best to explain what difficulty this aspect is gonna bring. Because don't use astrology to predict the future, because I feel like a lot of people use synastry charts to predict the future of the future of like the love life, of the future of themselves and their spouse. So don't use that to predict the future. Just keep in mind that this is the energies that gonna take place. So first of all, either the relationship never gets off the ground, and you might be there might be this dynamic, this on and off hallmark that has been established, that you keep coming back to the person, especially if you have Uranus as well in the synastry chart. But it might just never get off the ground. You might have this kind of like unexplained, undefined relationship, you know. This is one of the ways. The second way, some other way it can manifest, you will get the relationship off the ground. However, this would you can get a relationship off the ground and even marry, because it is known to be a marriage aspect. However, because this is, I feel like, when people get it twisted, it's not going to be so smooth, and the honeymoon phase might not even exist, if that makes sense. Or if it does exist, it would feel very, it's so interesting and strange how this aspect plays out, because even if you don't have Uranus in the chart, you might feel like there's this undefined, unexplained, restrictive, circumstantial blockage around you and the other person, okay? You know, I have watched a lot of videos about how this aspect plays out, and I have to say, I am gonna try to say all the things from my experience that I feel like maybe the other soldiers didn't say, because I feel like it's crucial dealing with this aspect to say it. Because let me tell you, you're in it for a ride, all right? You know, one of the another way it might manifest is that and this is, you know, from my own experience, I can confirm, you might not even get the relationship off the ground yet, but it would feel like you have marriage problems already, even if the relationship didn't get off the ground, okay? I'm not kidding you guys. This is what I mean when it's so hard to explain. Like, I wanted to make this video, but how can I even try to explain the unexplainable? Because this is what this aspect is, you know? It's very difficult to explain because it won't make much sense unless you actually lived through this aspect, okay? You can look to the synastry chart if it's somebody you have a crush, but if you didn't actually live it yet with the person, it's gonna be really hard to understand. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, this is what I mean when I say stop using synastry to predict the future, okay, you guys? Because I've been there, okay? I know what you guys are trying to look for. You're trying to control the future, maybe subconsciously, by knowing how this synastry might play out. And I get it, like, I've been there, you know? But this is not something you should be doing from experience. Don't do this. Just stop going to all these people, all these tarot readings, all this, because I'm sure some of you guys do it as well. You come to my videos, then you go to tarot readings, then you do something else. So I'm just gonna say don't do it, and I'm gonna go back to the subject. But I feel like if you deal with this subject, you might do it, because this subject is this aspect is very frustrating. So, very frustrating to deal with this aspect. Let me look up at my notes. Where is my notes? I put them in my journal. Okay. So, another problem that might come up with this aspect is lack of sexual compatibility. Now, please realize that there is multiple ways this lack of sexual compatibility might and will play out, okay? So some of the ways it might play out is either it's gonna be a lack of sexual rhythm. What does it mean? Well, maybe one person, the Mars or the Saturn person, doesn't really matter too much from my experience. And sometimes it changes. Sometimes it's the Mars, sometimes Saturn. So this is what I mean. Hence the lack of sexual rhythm. It can flip-flop between the two people, back and forth. So either, for example, it can be even go, you know, you might not even be physically doing the deed, but you might be even just sexting. But just so you understand how frustrating this aspect is, even when it comes to sexting, there will be problem. I'm telling you right now, there will be a problem, okay? Again, just gonna say it right now, there will be problem. Okay, because the lack of sexual rhythm is so immense that it will be a problem even with sexting. Which means, like, maybe, for example, one person, Saturn, Mars, let's say Mars person likes to sext all the time, all day, all night, all the time. And the Saturn person likes to sex 2 once 3 times a week. Or maybe the Saturn person prefers nighttime and the Mars person wants it at either daytime or all the time. All the time probably will be the case. Because very often that's what happens. The Mars person wants to have sex all the time or wants to sex all the time. And the Saturn person is like, it's like, it's like, too much, the Saturn person only wants to, the Saturn person is almost like, like turned off, almost taken aback, like, gets frustrated than Mars. The Saturn person wants it to like, maybe like 2-3 times a week, tops, because for Saturn, it's almost like not only that, but like doing it more, it's almost like grotesque, you know what I mean? It's almost like, oh my God, it's like I'm dealing with a teenager, that's what Saturn feels here. It's, my God, it's very difficult, okay? So it would create this very frustrating, weird dynamic that Saturn either gets turned off sometimes, that's the thing though, sometimes gets turned off, gets maybe even grossed out by Mars. Maybe Saturn feels that Mars is like this horny teenager. I hope I can say it so my channel won't be flagged. And Saturn feels, it's almost like Mars makes Saturn feel like this old grandpa or grandma. And, it's not very sexy, right? That's not a feeling, because Mars makes Saturn feel so old, mentally, sexually, Saturn doesn't get all aroused to take its clothes off for Mars. You know what I'm saying? That's what this dynamic makes, okay? Please, guys, let me know if you can resonate in the comment down below, okay? Because I'm sure a lot of couples have dealt with that, because I'm sorry, okay? It's unavoidable with this aspect, okay? But even if you don't, if you don't have a lack of sexual rhythm and you're very, very in sync with each other, which is rare with this aspect, I guarantee you some other immense problems would arise. Okay, which brings me to the other problem that might arise. Most likely, because that's the whole point of this aspect, what I'm getting to right now, which is lack of passion, not just sexually, okay, not just romantically. It's almost like there's a lack of, what you gotta realize that when Saturn makes a square to a personal planet, especially Mars, and it's someone that you want, it's someone that is like, you have a crush on, and it's gonna be hard no matter what the dynamic, but especially if it's someone that you want romantically, like you have a crush on or your spouse, it's going to be very, very depressing, because Saturn not only rules depression as well, but what you gotta realize, whenever Saturn squares a personal planet, especially Mars, but also Venus too, it creates a lack of enthusiasm, okay? It creates a lack of passion, okay? Saturn, like I said, Mars is all about passion. Saturn is all against that, okay? So when they square or oppose each other, even the conjunction is not ideal, but most of the square or the opposition, it's not going to be easy, okay? It is not easy. Like how they say, like, like oxytocin, serotonin? Yeah, Saturn kills all of these chemicals that we need in order to feel happy, okay? My gosh, this is going to be, it's going to be very unfortunate, because Saturn, like, because the two people would really want to be with each other, especially Saturn, because Saturn rules marriage as well. It's the part of us that it's Saturn rules commitment, okay? It's the part of us that committed, that wants marriage, that wants long-term relationships, long-term goals, okay? Career, okay? So it's going to definitely create a lack of passion in any way, shape, or form possible. Yep, that is a given, unfortunately. Because here's the thing, Saturn here is it's fuck, my mind is blocked. Okay, see, this is what this aspect will do as well. Blockage. Okay, it would create also a dynamic circumstantial that both people either can be together, maybe long distance, or they live very closely, but it's still not gonna come up together because the people are never gonna be on the same page. Frustrating. It's frustrating for me to even talk about this subject, because I think I was thinking I'm gonna do this video and I'm gonna be fine, but just thinking about it just brings up all this energy, all this unpleasant Mars square Saturn energy. Okay, this is what Mars square Saturn do. Okay, see, my energy and my mood right now arises from this video. This is what it creates. Okay, if you've been there, you know what I mean. You know it. You guys know it already. Okay, very frustrating, not as confusing, I want to say, because like for confusion you want to look for Neptune. Not confusing, but there will be a lot of frustration. However, everything will be pretty much clear. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Binding aspect. It's a binding aspect. Okay, so what can happen that this aspect can make a couple endure everything and still try either stay together or try to still be together, try to form a relationship that potentially maybe never stood a chance. Okay, yeah, it's not good. I'm so sorry, you guys. It's probably gonna be very depressing for you to hear, but it's not good. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's not good, because what you gotta realize is that, for example, even using my own experience, me and this guy have tried to be in a relationship together. Okay, we keep coming back to each other, and even though like when we just got into the relationship, even though we just started the relationship, or the relationship even didn't even start yet, right? But we both wanted it to start. We ended up having marriage problems, because this is how I felt. I was Saturn, okay? But I was Saturn, it was Mars. I felt like I have marriage relationship with a man that I'm not even really together with, okay? And this is what's it's so hard to explain, my God, because, and when I say not together with, it means that he made it very clear that he wants to be with me, and I made it clear that, okay, I want to be with you too, and we're trying to make it work. Okay, Saturn is all about work. Okay, so we are trying to make it work, and not only do the relationship never actually got off the ground, I felt like I have marriage problems, but I'm pretty sure we felt it too on some level. You know, he has Earth in his chart, so he felt it too for some level as well. I'm sure it's impossible not to, but it's mostly Saturn that's gonna feel it. See, this is what I'm trying to say. It's very, very, it's very frustrating and weird energy that it creates. Okay, also, what can happen is that it's already over 20 minutes. I want to make this video 20 minutes long. I try to make it 30 minutes, the longest. So the other thing is age gap. There might be a significant age gap because Saturn rules time, old time. So 5 to 7 years is pretty much a given in most cases, and it was the case with us. He's younger than me. That's all I'm gonna say. But he's younger than me. But he's he's younger, I'm older, so we have this age gap. However, well, That's also the thing, is that he always seemed older is the thing, but that's something else. Um, he has a Mars Saturn aspect conjunction in his own chart, so it could be a thing. He also has Moon in Virgo, so. But he also, he has a very aura, like old soul aura to him too. I was very surprised when I actually know his age. It's legal, by the way, I of course have to say that. But, age gap would be a thing here. It's not, well, if you want to look for a potential illegal, you know, you might want to look for 12th house synastry or a Neptune aspects for that. But yeah, oh, I think I made a video about that too. Like, but anyways, enough said. Yeah. So age gap and of course the notorious element of this aspect that Saturn tends to look down on Mars. Here's the thing, from my experience. Yes, I agree, but with my experience, it has been an on and off kind of thing. He used to look down on me and judge me, everything I felt like I existed wrong near him. Like the first time we got together, and even before that, but like before the first time we got together. The second time, this did not really happen between us. Maybe a little bit for my side, but it's more like on the sexual part. Like I felt like he was this like horny teenager, and I felt like this, like I felt like this 35-year-old lady kind of thing. But it's mostly like sexually, right? It's not really like I look down on him. Well, sometimes his energy would be too much. So yeah, but not strongly. So it could be, you could say it switched back and forth. And sometimes the sexual part was for me, because sometimes, like the first time we got together, he said, oh, like I was teasing him a little, like I was writing, oh, like, I want you, blah, 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 something like that. And he was like, oh yeah, it's written all over your face. Like, and he was like almost like repulsed by that. So see, this is what I mean. It can be back and forth, because I feel like the other astrologers don't mention that. And I feel like they don't mention it because they didn't experience it that way. My experience, both ways. It can go both ways. Not always, but it can. And no, we don't have double whammy. We have Mars square Saturn one time, only once, and we don't have Saturn squaring other personal planets in our chart. So yeah, it can go both ways, like double whammy. My experience, okay? You guys don't start a war in the comments. That's just my experience. But yeah, I'm sorry, you guys, if I was either all over the place, or maybe if I sound blocked or something. I have a lot of my mind recently, but I'm trying to make videos for you guys because it's important for me. And I have Mercury in Capricorn, for Christ's sake. So, please, you guys cut me some slack. Okay? This is the thing. This is what's so frustrating as well, is that I'm ruled by Saturn. So you would think I have Mars, Mercury, and my ascendant in Capricorn. So you would think that I would endure, and I can endure it. Here's the thing, I can endure it, this aspect. But here's the problem. It's like I have the tenacity of, because I have this Saturnian energy within myself, this Capricorn energy. I have the tenacity to endure this aspect, and maybe you guys do as well. Some of you guys might feel the same way. But like I said, if you have Uranus in the synastry, if the other person is have flighty energy, Venus in Gemini, Aquarius, then it's probably not gonna come together. Or it would come up together, the person would boomerang back, because I expect him to come back. I know him. He'll come back. The problem is that I am too your girl cannot waste any more time. You know what I mean? You know, my problem used to be that he would not come back. But okay, let me tell you something. If you have this aspect, they will be back. I promise. They will be back. Not because they always come back. Well, they do. But they will be back if you have this aspect. You don't need Uranus for that. And maybe it's better if you don't have, because Uranus, the personal planets aspect in synastry, will make it even more frustrating. So, also, in this synastry aspect, there is, you know, Saturn does feel very often restricted and blocked in the bedroom. Okay, there's a lot of sexual blockage that happens here within the Saturn person when Saturn feels very restricted in the and very blocked in the bedroom, and might be even terrified when it's time to perform. You know, Saturn here might feel a tremendous pressure to perform in the bedroom, even if Mars might not be very, you know, like very, you know, even if Mars might be very considerate, Saturn would still feel pressure. And Saturn might, because I thought that way, Saturn might, you know, I was the Saturn person. I was like, okay, but this person is like, you know, here, the person I have this aspect with, he has Mars in Cancer. So he was very considerate in the bedroom and in general, you know, Mars in Cancer are very considerate. So I was almost like, I know that he has very considerate, yet I still feel this pressure, or like he has expectations for me. Or I was actually like also kind of feeling this fear of like disappointing him, you know what I mean? So Saturn definitely can feel that as well. Even if Mars is in a very calm and watery sign like Cancer, you know, Saturn might still feel that way. Yeah, but you know, if they eventually Saturn can, because in my case, I eventually was able to get over my inhibitions and fears and put them aside, but it did require some work to get to that point, is what I'm trying to say. And Saturn is all that, it's all about work. So this dynamic, this aspect can very create this dynamic where you have to kind of work to get the relationship of the gun. You kind of have to work a little to, you might sometimes, and it might be frustrating because sometimes you might feel like you have to work for things that are meant to come naturally or easy. So that in that way it can be a bit frustrating. But the thing is, there is going to be this tremendous desire to get there and not give up, so on the relationship potentially, so like not to give up on each other, right? So you know, it really depends. It's not for everybody. Like if you have a lot of fire, it's probably not for you, and I suggest you give it up right now for the sake of your mental health. But if you're like me, I have a lot of Capricorn, so naturally, of course. But if you have a lot of Taurus, the same thing would apply. A lot of like Earth energy would be able to endure it. Earth energy, Earth signs have the tenacity to endure this aspect. So if you're like me, when you have a stellium in Capricorn or in Taurus or Virgo, you're gonna be able to. Like the person I had this with, he has his moon in Virgo and he has Mars conjunct Saturn in Cancer. So, and we have 8th house synastry. So, you know, this glue feeling was there, and we both had the tenacity in our own charts to endure it. But we also have moon square Uranus, so there's that. But you know, yeah. Yeah, there isn't much else to say about this aspect. It can, you know, I just wanted to add this bit to really like explain how it might manifest dynamically. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily, it does sometimes, because you know, it does sometimes, you know, there are like the sayings about displacement, where you know it leads to bad sex. It can, but very often, I want to say, even in most cases, it doesn't necessarily lead to bad sex, but it just creates this feeling that one of the people feels blocked, or even both feel blocked in some way. Because what can happen here sometimes is that the Mars, and in my case it also happened the first time we got together, the Mars person felt blocked by me, Saturn. I'm the Saturn, and I often felt like he felt blocked by me in a way. Like he wanted to pursue me, but he had, you know, we had this energy, kind of like this weird energy, where he felt like he could do everything, but I needed to make the first move physically myself. And I sometimes feel it could be because he has Mars in Cancer, but I also always feel like, because Mars in Cancer, Mars in Cancer men might like it when women initiate, but I often get the feeling that he felt that way because of this aspect, and because it happened to be, yeah, there's Mars in Cancer squaring my Saturn, you know what I mean? So, but eventually, we made it, but it's, we had, other problems, but just using this because I feel like my experience is a really good way of explaining how it might turn out. Especially since, like I said, synastry is it's synced between two people, so it can go back and forth, because I really disagree that it's only one person. In my experience, it was back and forth energy. And it actually goes to all aspects in synastry as well. Okay, so, yeah. So, I think that's it for now. That's all I have to say. I hope this video helped. I really tried to really explain the elements that I feel like the other videos do not really explain, because I feel like you need experience. You really have to go and experience it to understand it. And yeah, so you guys let me know how I did in this video. Let me know if you like this video. Please leave me comments down below and book a reading for me. And leave me a donation in one of the links down below if you like my channel. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.